technology, Dan. I keep them crossed and uncrossed and saying a little techno prayer and everything. But
It'll be fine. You guys are the masters of this stuff, so.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to do too, Barry Lynn. It's
I know. The one thing is, we do try.
That's all that counts.
Each one of us have run into different little challenges, and each time we learn something, right? So
Sure do.
if you're learning something, it's a success. I've started the recording for you as well, so that we can put it up on the YouTube channel.
awesome. That's awesome. All right, Barry Lynn, take it away. It's 5 o'clock.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to our virtual training. Today we have a special guest. Dan, I'm sorry, I know you told VJ, how do you pronounce your last name?
Cojanu.
Dan Cojanu, and he is with our Canine Advocacy program. Before we get started with that, though, I just want to remind everyone, if you would please mute your microphone and turn off your video camera. That will help through the presentation so we don't have the feedback, and we find it helps with our videos to run smoother. But today, Dan is going to tell us about the CAP program. That's what we refer to it as. And it's one of our Leader Dogs alternative career programs. So I know many of you have asked and would like more information about the different alternative careers. And we are fortunate to have Dan with us today, Vice President and Program Director, and he is going to share with us. Thank you, Dan, for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and let you take over, and VJ is going to run your PowerPoint. So we'll work together.
Okay, great. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me here. Having the opportunity to speak to the puppy raisers and counselors is something I've always wanted to do, and sometimes I do it individually when they contact me about dogs being placed. But I want to thank you all, my gosh, for what you do, because without you and these beautifully trained dogs, we do not exist. It's not going to happen. So all that hard work and care and effort, it works out both for people who are visually impaired and for the children we work with. So first of all, a big thank you. So I guess we'll start off with the PowerPoint.
Let's do this, Dan. Let me start sharing my screen. I'm going to ask everyone I'll ask you, Dan. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, I can.
Oh my God, I'm so excited, Dan. All right, let's do this.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
All right, I can do that.
Okay, how we began. I get asked this a lot, and what happened is I've been working with neglect and abused children for going on 43 years now. And when I was working at the prosecutor's office, I supervised a victim advocate section, and we worked one-on-one with crime victim families, usually homicide, criminal sexual conduct cases, that type of thing. And Oakland County wanted to get rid of us old folks, so they wanted us to retire early. And one of my coworkers, Cindy Stanton, who is the person it was her idea, and she owned the first dog, Amos. And she told me about a program where they were using dogs to help prepare kids to testify in court. And I did some research and I visited a program. And when I saw the impact that these dogs had on the kids before they went into court, it was unbelievable, the change. And they testified better, they were more relaxed, and more importantly, a lot less anxiety. So I came back, when I got back to Michigan, I talked to every judge, lawyer, prosecutor, therapist, victim advocate I could find, and nobody could tell me why we couldn't do it. So I started writing up what the program is going to look like, and then I got the call from Leader Dog. And I don't remember if it was Jeff or Rod that told me, we have the perfect dog for you. And they could not have been more accurate. It was Amos. And Tammy, don't start crying, okay? Amos was the most phenomenal dog I have ever worked with. As we all know, dogs are very intuitive. Amos was unreal. I mean, he could be working with a child waiting to testify and then notice that the parents are starting to melt down, and he would go over and support them. He just had a gift, and I miss him dearly still. And he really launched the program. We traveled around the state working, and then the program just kept growing and growing to what it is now. We have 33 working dogs right now. We've trained 43 to work all around the state of Michigan. And then the program just kept going. So next slide. I want to show you some of our dogs. Some of you may actually recognize some of the dogs, but they all have a story. So let's go to the next. This is Amos, absolutely our founding member. Unfortunately, we lost him 2 years ago. Just a phenomenal dog, and he is the face of the program, always will be the face of the program. We do not take his picture off of any of our literature, anything online. He is the dog that launched this, and I'm just so proud to be able to work with him. Next slide. This is Dodger, who went to work in Bay County, and you guys will get a chuckle out of this. Dodger's owner, the prosecutor at the time, brought Dodger in to meet all the staff and inadvertently used the word park while he was introducing Dodger. And Dodger did what you were thinking and took a leak right there in the middle of the hallway. I still tell that story at presentation. So next. This is Naudus in Ionia. He's the second dog to work in Naudus. Patty was our first, who actually worked as a leader dog and just retired recently. I believe she was 13. Next. Next slide.
It changed for us, Dan. You're not seeing Sophie?
No.
Maybe give it a second. But you can hear me okay, right?
I can hear you. Okay.
If you just want to start talking about Sophie for right now, Dan.
They're hard to remember, all the dogs, so we can kind of click through them.
Okay, so Sophie was assigned to Clinton County.
Okay, they're one of our newer dogs. Yep. Okay. Next slide.
Did it change for you, Dan?
Nope.
Okay, so this is Echo, assigned to Gladwin County Prosecutor.
Okay.
Dan, before we go on, where do all these dogs, who houses all these dogs at all these different locations?
All the dogs are handled by victim advocates or people who work at agencies. So they go home with them at night, come into work in the morning, and then go back.
So every day they go to work with their handler and hang out as a dog and are there if they're needed at any time.
Yeah, a lot of them are scheduled for court, and a lot of them are just get pulled into duty as a situation presents itself. So
wonderful. Okay,
let's go to the next one.
We have Joey, assigned to Allegan County Prosecutor.
One of our new ones. We have 2 Joeys now. Oh, it's back up.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's one of our newer dogs. Now we have 2 Joeys, which is nice and confusing. Okay. Next slide.
We have Preston, assigned to Child Advocacy Center of Kent County.
Okay, Preston just moved. He used to work at Small Talk, and then his advocate moved to Kent County, so Preston went with her. So we have another dog up on the west side of the state. I lost the picture again. Let's go to the next one.
We have Jagger, assigned to Hillsdale County Prosecutor.
Okay, let's try to breeze through these. I'll stop if something comes up. How about that?
Okay.
Just tell me who I'm looking at.
Thorin, assigned to Washtenaw County Prosecutor.
Down in Ann Arbor. Yep. Okay. Next one.
And we have Joey, your second Joey, assigned to Midland County Prosecutor.
Joey is quite a dog. He's one of our chocolates. When you go to the prosecutor's office, I call it the Joey Shrine. They have his trading cards. They have pictures of all of his newspaper articles. And when you come to the door, Joey comes and greets you, walks you back to whoever you're meeting with, and then goes and sits in a high back leather chair where he naps until he is needed.
Oh
So
my
he is
goodness.
very spoiled, yeah. Okay, next one.
Now we have Alfred assigned to the Ionia County. I'm not sure. What does CAC?
A child advocacy clinic.
Oh, okay.
These are the clinics where children go to get it's called a forensic interview. They sit down with a forensic interviewer, and it's pretty much where they talk about what happened to them. And again, 95% of my cases are child sexual assault, and it's being recorded and watched by a police officer, usually detective, and an assistant prosecutor. And they, based on that interview, they decide what to charge, and even if they can charge. So it's a very critical part. And the whole point is to have the child do this one time so that they're not saying the same story 3, 4, 5, 6 different times. So what we're doing is we're using the dogs like we do in the courtroom to get some of that anxiety down so they're able to go into this interview, answer all the questions, and have something positive to look for when they come back outside. And this is the latest. We're doing a lot of these now, a lot of the child advocacy centers.
Okay.
Okay, next one.
Jethro assigned to Iron County prosecutor.
He's our last UP dog. We used to have 3 up there and 2 retire. So Jethro, he lives the good life out in the woods, and they still have enough cases up there to keep him busy. Next.
Okay, we have Oscar assigned to Muskegon County prosecutor.
Yep, the west side of the state is very, very busy. He's a big boy. I'd like Oscar a lot. Okay, next. I don't want to eat up too much of our time, so I'm going to try.
Okay, Reagan assigned to Eaton County.
Yep, he works with a investigator at the Eaton County Prosecutor's Office. Very active dog, works very, very hard. A lot of cases out there. Next.
And we have Penny assigned to La Casa.
Yes, Penny was the first dog we placed at a, it's a shelter for abused women. So Penny works with adults as well as children, and they're one of the first places in the state to allow their clients who had to flee an abusive situation to bring their animals with them. They get to bring their dogs and cats with them, and they also board horses off-site. So that was a big deal because a lot of battered women would not leave their abuser because they were afraid of what would happen to their animals. And La Casa was one of the first ones in the country to do that type of work. So, next.
Oh, you might have to help me. Malgo?
Mowgli. Yeah.
Mowgli?
Brand new dog in Shiawassee County. Yeah. I guess it's from some children.
I'm going to mute and let VJ take over. Sorry about the dog.
Mowgli is the second dog to work in Shiawassee County. Smokey was there before, but moved on with her owner. And I guess the children in the county actually named Mowgli after a children's film that I'm just frankly not familiar with. So one of our newer dogs. Okay, next.
Mr. Weber assigned to Barron County prosecutor.
Mr. Weber is a rock star on the west side of the state. You will see a little bit more from Mr. Weber. Frankly, I just like saying his name. We went out to Berrien County one time after 2 people who worked in the courthouse got shot and killed by an inmate. And I asked the prosecutor, can we help? Can we send dogs? And we had 10 cap dogs go out there. We went office to office, the entire courthouse, visiting with people who had witnessed this. I had a lady showed me where the bullet went through the window. It was an awful, awful scene, but we had so many dogs there. We worked in teams, and Mr. Weber went back to his office and he shared his toys with all of the dogs. And I have to tell you, the emotional strain on the dogs was so evident. We drove back, I was, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours, and the dogs just laid in the back and just went to sleep. It was a very emotional situation. Oh, I got his picture back. But you will hear from Mr. Weaver a little bit later. Okay, next.
We have Lance assigned to Oakland County.
Lance is one of the dogs I work with. He was a prison dog out of Iowa. And judging by the guy who raised him, he will be raising many more dogs in the future. Next. Daphne, again, another child advocacy center, works with the children coming in for forensic interviews. We've had phenomenal success with, the kids are actually excited about coming to an interview, which is just doesn't happen. I mean, this is the second most traumatic thing other than actually being abused is coming in to, you know, do this interview. Having the dogs at these centers is amazing. So next. Abe is down in Jackson. I can't see it. There's a bar in the way, but I remember him. He's got that face. Next. Cody, this is interesting. Cody's owner is also named Cody, except with a C. And he is a investigator with the Sheriff's Department up in Benzie. And when I was able to go visit my dogs, which hasn't happened in quite a while, if you can imagine a bunch of cops sitting around talking about, you know, who took a leak on the tree, which Cody, it's awful up there. They just abuse this guy something senseless. And this was not planned that they would have both have names. It was pretty funny. Okay, next. I'm sorry. Ozzy, again, Ozzy is working with domestic violence survivors in Flint. He's very busy out there. Okay, next. Trigger. Trigger actually rides around in a motorhome. They have an office there, but they actually handle 3 different counties up there. So they actually have a mobile child advocacy center, and Trigger rides around in this gigantic motorhome, and they do the forensic interviews in the motorhome. It's a pretty unique program. Okay, next. Dylan down in Van Buren. Very beautiful dog. Next. Justice. Justice works at the Michigan State University Sexual Assault Program. After the Dr. Nasser court hearings with all those victims, all those young people, Justice was at court, you know, helping them through their victim impact statements. They have huge problems at Michigan State. Just lost them.
Hey, Dan,
Yep.
It's Melissa again. So we actually, it would be very impromptu, but without giving away too much information, we happen to have the liaison from the correctional facility that raised Justice on the line with us. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. I just
wow.
saw that she joined the program. So if you are out there, said person, feel free to unmute your mic and say a little bit about Justice joining this program. We might need to catch up with her in just a little bit, but I want to give you that plug that she is listening.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there she is.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, I have my camera, you're not gonna see me, but you can hear me.
Okay.
That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I'm Christy and I'm from the Oaks Correctional Facility in Manistee. And yes, Justice was one of our many pups that we raised here. And I believe she might have been, we had one dog go out to California for bomb sniffing, but I want to say maybe Justice was our next one to get career changed. And we were very proud to come to know that this is what she is helping to do. And I try to keep the guys apprised of her doings as she moves forward and the line of work that she's doing. It's hard for them to say goodbye to their dogs, but besides getting paired, you know, this is the next best thing in their eyes, and they're very proud of the work they do, and I'm proud of the work that they do also. So it's good to see her and know that not only myself played a small part in her doing what she's doing, but you know, the men here that are giving back to society, it's good for them too. It really does a lot for changes in their life and their outlook toward the future. So thank you for pointing that out, Melissa. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Justice has done some great work. In fact, before I went out to do the test to actually give him, you know, my okay to start working, they had a survivor come in who was just falling apart on the couch, and they just let Justice off lead and went right over to this lady and started licking her face. You know, he put his head in her lap, the whole thing. And it just, it's the way it's supposed to be. And
that's great.
That's the kind of comfort, you know, Justice provided. So please tell the inmates, they have my thanks. I'd love to talk to these guys sometime. I don't know if we'll ever get that opportunity anymore, but they, you know, all the puppy raisers just put, you know, so much into these dogs, and it shows. My God, it shows. So thank you.
And while I have your attention, I noticed Mowgli has a new name, but when I believe it's our doggy we had here, we had named, the guys had named him Quest, and I believe that's him. They were looking for a new name for him, so his new name's Mowgli, but we raised him too. So
yeah, the kids,
that's awesome.
They had a little contest for the kids to, you know, to change the name. It's got to be really kid friendly, you know,
Yep.
that type of thing. And so my apologies to the, still the same dog is going to do the same great work.
Oh, they won't care. I will make sure I share with them too that, you know, there was a contest for the kids to do it, and that will make all the difference with them anyway.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I know I'm getting killed on time. Am I still okay here?
You're fine, Dan. Take as much time as you need.
Let's go to the next one. Yep, Bruin. I made his picture too fat. I can't see where I put him because frankly, I'm old and I lose track. Let's go to the next one.
Looks like he's assigned a St. Clair prosecutor.
Okay, out to the east side. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Yeah, Bell down in Cass County. Next one. Pawnee, again, another child advocacy center. This dog goes out to the schools to talk to children. You know, they talk about prevention techniques and that. Pawnee is the rock star down there towards Berrien County. It goes to all the parades and fundraisers and every kid event you could think of. Pawnee makes an appearance. So next. I can't even see it.
Looks like this is Griffin.
Okay.
Assigned to Ottawa County prosecutor.
Okay. Yeah, west side of the state is busy. Okay, next. Corey, yep, Corey just went to Ingham County, hanging out in Lansing. Got sworn in by a judge there, which is always a fun time. They love doing that. Next. Loki, I love this name. And again, a small talk that's out in East Lansing. That's their newest dog after Preston moved on to Kent County. Next. Frida, I work with Frida. She's two dogs I work with Oakland. And the next slide, you know, sometimes leader dog tries to slip one in on me. You can go to the next slide. So I have to be careful because they do pull a stunt like this. Go ahead, put it up. Did it come up?
It did. You just won't be able to hear the audience, but I know they're laughing.
Okay, let's go on to the next one. And I can't see the next one.
Your slide says what we do and how we do it.
Okay. Boy, I know I'm way over on time here. I'm going to try to condense this a little bit. I believe we have the best criminal justice system in the world. Where we really fall short is what we expect of children. Okay. Like and as I said before, 95% of my cases are child children who have been sexually assaulted. Now, we expect an adult to go into court, sit 20 feet away from somebody who assaulted them, and speak to a room full of strangers, jurors, a judge, lawyers. Now, that's bad enough. But when you back that down to a child who may be 8, 10 years old, and in one case I had 2 kids that were 3 and 4. I don't know if anybody can really grasp how terrified they are to go into a room like that and just see all of these strangers and tell the most intimate details of a sexual assault to a bunch of strangers. We really fall short. We really do. And I've been working with kids for 43 years now, mostly neglect and abuse. I've watched it. I've prepped these kids over the years. So when this opportunity came up to use dogs, it was huge, because what we do is the kid knows we're going to be there in most cases. They are sitting in the courthouse waiting for us to get there, and they are beaming that they're going to get to hang out with this beautiful dog. And I introduce the dog, and we do a little back and forth about what was the dog doing. The kids will say, "Oh, bites bad guys or finds dope or whatever." But I tell them that, we'll use Lance as an example. As long as we're here, Lance is your dog. I gave them a tremendous amount of power in this powerless situation. They have been told, you have to tell the truth, you have to talk to the judge, you have to keep your voice up, all these things you have to do. And I just gave them a dog. So we'll go for a walk, and my hand is always on the lead, and they take the lead. And at Oakland County, the staff all know that if they see me with a child, that it's okay for them to ask the child questions like, "Can I pet your dog? How old is your dog? What's your dog's name?" This just reinforces this power that they have now. And the kids make up wild stories. I mean, like, "Oh, he's 8 months old, and watching them do this, but you watch them beam because they have a new focus. They know what they have to do. They know that it's going to be a very, very bad day, but they get to play with the dog. And then we'll go for a walk for a while. They can cuddle up with the dog. We have workbooks. I wish I had one here with me, to color the courtroom and the dog and that type of thing. And once I feel that their anxiety has come down and they're calmer, then we start talking about what's going to happen in court. In Oakland County, I know all the judges, so I can personalize it. I can say, Judge such and such, she likes cats, but we like her anyhow. Or this judge wears funny bow ties that are always crooked. And I personalize it. And again, trying to get them calm, because most of the times I know everybody involved in their style and what's going to happen. We have a judge in Clarkston who has a stuffed animal of each one of the dogs I've worked with in her court, and she has it up on the bench. So when the kids walk in, the first thing they go to is seeing if Mr. Dan was right about all these little stuffed animals. Again, getting that anxiety down is absolutely critical. And while we're waiting, we're doing all these things to get them calm. And then when it's time to go in, they walk in with the dog and myself. They sit in a witness chair. I sit directly behind them. The dog is right at their feet. So if they need a pet during the course of the hearing, they can reach down and give the dog a little pet, keeping things calm. When we're all done, we do a little decompressing in the room, and we talk about what went on. And we walk them right out to the car. It is their dog for the day, so they get to walk them out to the car. And at that point, I don't know if you're going to be able to see these. We give them these trading cards. I hope you can see them. You'd think that you'd given them $1,000. They see these cards of the dog that they worked with, and it's got information on the back. They are ecstatic that they have these little silly trading cards. I still don't get it. I give out a lot of them. They walk away with something positive out of this nightmare. They have a trading card. They can go to our Facebook page and see all the dogs that we have. Depending on the child, sometimes I'll say, Lance met a really strong young lady today. She did really well. Obviously, no names. They need something positive, because this is, like I said, probably the second worst thing that's happened to them other than the actual assault is having to go to court. And we need to do better. Now, at sentencing, we have some fun. What I do is when they come to sentencing, I give them this. And I say, Lance made this for you. It's really soft and it's really squishy. And I hold it at arm's length, and they look at me handing them a poop bag. And I've had some kids actually refuse to open it because they think I'm disturbed. But what we do is we give them a stuffed animal of whatever dog they worked with. This obviously is Frida, and this is Lance. So they go home with a little positive remembrance, again, of this nightmare that we call the criminal justice system. So they have something. They have something to hang on to that wasn't as bad as court. And more recently, we just got these. Now they have masks with dog faces on them. We just got a load of these in, and we're giving those out to all of our agencies so they can give them to the kids as well. We're trying to do better. And I hope we are. But that's kind of how we work. We tweak that a little bit for the advocacy centers, but it's the same principle, is to get the kids calm, give them a new focus, and let's just do a little less harm. Okay. Next slide. What makes the program work? It's frankly you guys. We only use dogs trained by leader dogs. I know that I can get their history. I know their temperament. I know Tammy tests them for us because of the new law. I know the care that's gone into their training, and it is the only agency I work with, period. There is no discussion. We only use people who have worked as victim advocates or law enforcement, because you have to be able to sit in that box with that dog and that kid and not show any emotion no matter what you hear. And listening to a child describe a sexual assault is the most horrible thing you can think of. And we can only use people that can sit there with a stone face, because anything else transmits to that dog, going to disrupt your dog. It's going to disrupt the court hearing. That can't happen. I lost the picture, but I think I kind of remember. One thing is we are passionate about what we do. It just doesn't happen walking in with a dog and everything just magically works. You have to believe in what you're doing. You have to believe in the power of a dog and what it can do. And those are the only people I work with or I will place dogs with. So next slide, or can you tell? I lost the picture, but.
Did you lose the picture?
I lost the picture. Can you tell me what it says?
Goals and to reduce anxiety, do less harm.
That's the bottom line of the whole program. I wish I could take kids' blood pressure when they come in, and later on, I know what it would say. These kids, it's such a dramatic change, and you can see it. Nobody is excited about coming to court. Nobody is excited about going to a child advocacy clinic. These kids are. The I don't know if you want to call it the magic of a dog. That's what makes it work. And these kids benefit from it. And my bottom line is to always, we have to do less harm. People say, well, you just want the kids to testify. And that's not true. I'd like them to testify because I want these people held accountable. But if they don't, that's all right. And it reminds me when we saw a picture of Dodger earlier, one little guy, he just couldn't testify. He just couldn't do it, even with Dodger at his side. And he went to the victim advocate and he said, do you think Dodger is still proud of me for trying? And the advocate just started crying, and it was, of course he's proud of you, and we did less harm. I mean, it didn't work out perfectly, but we did less harm, and that's the key. Okay, next.
If you don't have the slide, it says benefits, victim survivor, prosecutor, bench, defense, and criminal justice system.
Oh, everybody benefits from this. Whenever I do a presentation at a prosecutor's office or whatever, I say, if you can tell me a downside to using dogs to help children, let me know because I want to address it. The prosecutor obviously has a witness that's calmer and able to talk. The judges love it because they have the same thing. They don't have to worry about a kid, being emotionally traumatized on the stand. Even defense attorneys, they get a chance to cross-examine if their witness is calm and ready to go. The system works better. It just works better. Okay, next.
So this says a day in the life of a canine advocate. Is this the video that you want us to play?
This is the video.
All right, everyone, say your prayers, do a technology dance, and we'll see where we get.
Okay.
BJ, if you could stop sharing your screen.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Okay, Melissa and Dan?
Yes.
All right, well, I'm going to stop sharing. And like Melissa said, we're going to do a little prayer here because
Dan?
I
Yes.
love this video.
What might help too, Dan, if you click on the camera to turn your camera off as well. Sometimes that helps the videos.
Click on the camera.
You see it at
Okay.
the top next to the microphone?
Actually, it's in the middle, but okay.
Oh, okay.
Can you see the video?
Yes.
No, take that. Okay, I'm going to play it, everyone. Let's say a little whoosh whoosh prayer. Here it goes.
BJ, your video is playing, but unfortunately we don't hear the sound.
I'm sorry, Melissa, what did you say?
Your video is playing, but we don't hear the sound.
Would you like me to start it again?
Start it again, but you're going to have to stop sharing and then select that option to, I think it says share program sound.
Okay, so let me.
You guys hear a squeaky toy. It's my puppy, and she's not a leader dog puppy, but she is going to town on her favorite squeaker.
Okay, so I'm going to try it again, Melissa. Let's see. Let's share. I'm going to do that. We're going to do this. Can you guys see this?
We can see it.
All right, let me know if you hear the sound.
A day in the life of a service dog.
Perfect.
I am Mr. Weaver, a canine advocate. I was trained at the Leader Dogs for the Blind. Now I am a canine advocate for the Barron County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. Every day I take my person to work at the courthouse in St. Joseph. Once there, I run to my office just like I am sure my coworkers do. My office. If it is empty, I then check to see if everyone else has come to work yet and maybe go looking for a bit of attention. I really like my office and my coworkers. My main handlers are Maryland and Tony. That's me in the call room as a canine advocate. I work with children to help them testify. When I work with a child, I am their friend for the day and go everywhere with them. I sit right up in the witness box with my friend. I know it doesn't look like I have much space, but it's perfect for me to be close to my friend. After working together, my friends often leave me a picture, and I give them my trading card. Sometimes I even get my favorite treat, a carrot. When the day is done, I am pooped. If you want to learn more about me or dogs like me, visit my Facebook page or this site. Special thanks to my brother Alex for letting me use his computer, the Barron County Prosecutor's Office, and the star, Mr. Weaver.
Okay. Did everybody see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That video won the Associated Press Award. That little guy was a fourth grader at the time. His dad owns Mr. Weaver. He's a deputy chief prosecutor in Berrien County. And yeah, I thought he did a fantastic job. And honestly, that is kind of the day in a life. I mean, the dogs are pampered, if not spoiled, when they come into the office. But they do a fantastic job. And I'm really glad it ran because it was a great video. I know I've completely blown out of the water all my time here. I guess I've had conversations with raisers about their dogs, and I do understand that you want your dog to work with somebody who's visually impaired. But I did talk to a raiser one time. I believe she was on the West Coast, and she told me, she was disappointed that her dog was career changed, but she said, instead of my dog helping one person, it's going to help hundreds. And I that really just put it all in the focus for me, and I hope it does for you as well. Again, I know you guys put your heart and soul in these dogs. It is so clear when we get them, and the work that they do, and how easy they are to train for whatever job they're going to do. But I was looking at some of my statistics. In 2019, our dogs attended 606 court hearings. They interviewed 977 children and worked with people either at fundraisers or visiting groups or something, like over 4,000 times. They're doing a phenomenal job. I get to hear all the stories that unfortunately you guys can't. It's such a positive influence. I can't even describe it. And I'm still in contact with kids I worked with 8 years ago. They still contact me. When I told you I worked with a 3-year-old, she came to my mother's funeral a few years ago. The kids bond with these dogs, and it's what gets them through. So, on that note, I can't thank you enough for the work that you do. If you ever have questions about your dog or a dog that's going to be career changed or anything about the program, my information is all over the place. You can call me, you can text me, you can email me. I'm pretty easy to find. I'm just very thankful for the opportunity to be able to talk to everybody today. So thank you for paying attention and listening to me, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I don't know if we have time for questions or not.
Yes, we definitely have time. Anyone that needs to take off, feel free to do so. We are still recording, so the questions will be recorded. Dan, do you have time for a few questions? Because they are starting to come in.
Absolutely.
All right, so we are going to back up just a little and try to get these questions for you. First of all, just a ton of love in the chat room. Everybody is throwing up hearts. They love you, Dan. They love the program. They love Tammy. It's a love fest. There's some kumbaya going on,
Well,
but
the dogs do all the work. I'm just the guy at the end of the leash. So
this question is from Monica. She wants to know, is there any additional training you do with these dogs?
they come to us so well trained, there's very little. I work with the handlers about all the basic sit, stay, down, that type of thing. And for the courtroom, what we do is we'll put the dog in the box with the handler, and I want them in a downstay position for 20 minutes the first day, adding 10 minutes every day until that dog is able to stay in the box for a solid hour without getting up. That's kind of my final exam. What I will do is when I come back out, I will go around the courtroom, I will toss chairs, I will yell into microphones, drop books, and they're allowed to pick up their head, but they cannot get up, because if they do, that would disturb the jury, the court proceedings, that type of thing. Honestly, they come, and it's because of you guys that they're so well trained. I just tweak whatever job they're going to do. The commands are there, the dogs all know them. So I just build on that, frankly.
And no more questions at this time, but again, so much love. Everyone is saying that you and your program are an incredible inspiration, and just wow, thank you for such a positive outlook. It's a perfect presentation right before Thanksgiving, especially during these difficult times. Of course, everyone is saying thank you and happy Thanksgiving. The family that raised Corey is here. So they are very excited about this. Becky has a question. She said, could you give us your information? I live in Castle Rock, Colorado, and the victim's advocate officer with our police department would like to start a canine advocacy program.
Oh, wonderful. The best way is to email me, and it's dan@capmich.com. And if he wants to call, it's 248-701-6611. And if it's Colorado, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to go out there and talk to him in person.
Dan, you're going to need an assistant, so I'll go with you.
I'm looking for Hawaii right now, so if there's anybody out there.
We do have a hand up for Mark Felt. Mark, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, Dan, I was wondering, are other states reaching out to you for making this CAP program available in their state?
This was supposed to be my retirement. That has not worked out so well. There is another organization that does this, and they're much larger, and they do it statewide. I have some safety issues with this other agency. We kind of knocked heads on. I honestly do not believe you put a dog with a child in a highly explosive situation without a handler being there. And this particular agency promotes that. And I have a major problem with that. So it's being done around the country, but mostly by this operation. I'm a one-man band. I do this by myself. I do the training, the adoptions, and I work 2 dogs in court here in Oakland County. My wife helps me with the books because I'm just horrible at business. And the One for One Foundation collects our stats from around the state to keep me going. But I will help any state do this. That's not a problem. I believe in this, and like I said, if that's a Colorado or any surrounding states, I'm more than happy to get this going with them. Not a problem.
They are asking for your information again. So if you can give us your full name, your spelling, and your email address and phone number. You have members of your fan club that want to contact you.
Okay.
And I did just put it all in the chat box as well, and it's all on the website and it's in the chat, but let's go ahead and record it again.
Okay. First name is Dan. Last name is Cojanu. And email is dan@capmich.org. And the phone number is 248-701-6611.
Is that .org or .com?
.org.
Looks like they have all of your information. Everyone again is saying thank you. And just letting you know that you're an inspiration and your program is wonderful. Thank you, Dan, so much for joining us.
Like I said, it doesn't happen without you guys. So, you know, the folks at Leader Dog and all the raisers and counselors and everybody, again, my heartfelt thanks to you for doing this.
Thank you, Dan. It's Barry Lynn. I so appreciate you joining us, sharing that video, sharing all the background information. It makes a huge difference, and just so appreciate everything.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.